We didn't have much growing up. My dad was killed by a drunk driver when I was 3 years old. My mother had to go to work. And so to go to college, I was hoping for a scholarship. And the University of Arizona thought I was a great basketball player. The only problem is, by my junior year, they decided to retire me, but not my number. So we pursued a different line of work over the years. But Steve, thank you for all of your leadership. Wow, this party has always had a special place. You know, I didn't know Steve, and just days after he had been installed, I called him on a couple of what I thought serious problems. And I found a clarity of thought, I found a problem solver, someone that he cared for the party. Were you really on the SREC 27 years ago? Is that real? Okay. That's right. Day 4 of your briefing for me. And to Melinda, thank you for all you do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here. I'll be brief. It's a little later than we all thought on the program, but what a great treat to have 31 outstanding men and women here as the 2011 Volunteer of the Year. I don't know that I heard all the hours, but one of our heroes, if I can use that word, one of our heroes said, I've this past year I invested 4,400 hours. I said, 4,400 hours? I said, there are 8,760 hours in a year. Wow. Wow, do we owe you a debt of gratitude. But you know, we wouldn't have the party that we do. We wouldn't, without our volunteers, we wouldn't have a bullseye on our back like we do with the Obama administration. You're the reason, ladies and gentlemen. We can talk a lot about, the Texas miracle. No such thing as a Texas miracle. It's been a lot of hard work. But it wouldn't have worked without all of you all from county chair, for volunteers, just working your hearts out and supporting us in the legislature, sharing with us your thoughts, making sure that we're listening to you, and we're giving you the government you want at a price we can all afford. You contrast that with Washington. Holy, right? Spending money on programs, money we don't have, on programs we don't need. Crazy. Does anyone in the room think Washington isn't broken? Of course not. It is a mess. And we've got, what was the line that Governor Romney used? He said, President Obama may be a nice enough guy. I don't know President Obama. I don't know what he's a nice enough guy at all. But he said, he doesn't have a clue on how to fix the economy. And it's you all who are out there, who are talking to us, and all of us working. I worked on the SREC for 4 or 5 years as a state finance chair. We're all volunteers. And if we don't, all of us work hard and make sure that not only do we elect the right people, but we make sure that we send a strong signal that we get behind the right candidate for president. We work as hard as we can, because I heard someone say the other day, America is at a crossroads. No, we're way past that. We're at a tipping point. And we're being forced closer and closer to that cliff. And literally, this is about freedom. This is about the fact that our Creator gave us rights and freedoms that are enshrined in our sacred Constitution, which are being violated by this government. Over and over again. General Abbott was talking about the EPA. I'm the named plaintiff along with Greg in about 5 or 6 federal lawsuits on the EPA, against the Department of Education. This administration doesn't understand that if you grow government, by definition, you choke back, figuratively, you choke back the private sector. And the only way to grow the private sector is to figuratively choke back government. And so they're marching every answer. It's incredible. I mean, you'd think from high school football, right tackle on 3, when you got stopped 3 times in a row, you'd call a new play, right? No. It's the same thing. So what do we have? We've got the son of Stimulus 1 right now with the stimulus program, all right? 4, I mean, it's not, it's, so we waste $778 billion, and now we're going to try and waste $443 billion. It is insane, all right? And spending right this year, right now, in Washington, it's out of control. The beast is out of control. When you look at it, the 2011 budget, they're spending 50% more money than the whole federal government takes in. Right? All us business people, I've been a businessman all my life, still own a business, still a business person, still creating jobs, still making investments, all right? Now, so you know what that's called? That's called bankruptcy and stupidity. And that's what they're doing to us. I'm not going to talk about races and all of that, but I got into this race because I think we all feel that if we don't come together and we don't make a stand, we're going to lose our freedoms and we're going to lose this great country here. And I don't know that we did a very good job in explaining it, but it was probably the most successful conservative session in Texas history. Not only did we protect, and we got a judge we're going to work on, we got to appeal this. Not only did we work on protecting further the sanctity of life with the sonogram bill, but we built on what I passed in the Senate over the last 8 years: defense of marriage, parental notification. Then we upped it, parental consent. Then making it, for the first time in the history of the state of Texas, a tort, a crime if you harm an unborn fetus, and on and on. So we try to protect life. At the same time, over the last 8 years that I've been lieutenant governor, and then if you look at this new biennium, we just went in September, in 10 of 10 years, we've cut spending by billions of dollars each year, or we've cut taxes by billions of dollars, or both. And that's important. But you know what the more important thing is? That wouldn't have worked without another ingredient. We did something that's completely missing in Washington. If you talk about a jobs program, we can talk about all the details. Let me tell you what the core is. Somebody said to me the other day, David, we need to make Washington run more like a business. Well, in certain things. But you know what the answer is? We need to make Washington run more like Texas. All right? We don't spend what we don't have. We prioritize revolutionary concept. We prioritize. Folks, I'm one of very few people in the country that has stood there for 9 years now as a traffic cop. For some reason, the good Lord put me in that spot, standing here over the last 9 years, and I didn't really realize why I was put there until I looked at Washington and I said, holy mackerel, they don't understand the things we do in Texas. You got to prioritize, right, Brian? You got to prioritize. You can't be all things to all people. You can't spend more money than you have. Otherwise, we're gonna ruin the future of our children and our grandchildren. That's what we're doing. I feel concerned about Carolyn. I feel concerned about your children. When I talk to parents, they talk to me in terms of, David, I'm we've all grown up, and we always believe that our children will have the same or better opportunities than we've had. Some parents are starting to tell me, I don't know if that's true. I was in the Woodlands with Senator Williams last Friday, and we had a bunch of large group of small businessmen and women. And they were saying, I'm not sure this country's ever going to economically grow. I said, yes, it will. This is America. We're different. We're still that shining city upon the hill. Look at the fundamentals. Our problem is the difference between Washington and here is that in Texas, we have worked real hard to maintain the most attractive business environment in the country. We have consciously made decision after decision how to reduce taxes. We've reduced taxes over my last 8 years. We cut spending. This year we cut $15.2 billion, Brian, out of our budget. If you say it fast, it doesn't sound like a lot of money. Let me tell you, $15.2 billion over the biennium is a lot of money. We cut 8.1%. And here's the Senate in Washington arguing about, well, maybe we should cut $24 billion. The federal budget is 41 times larger than ours. They already cut in $300 billion. This is insane. Give a backdrop. We need, as a businessman, what do business people want? They want predictability. They want to know what the rules are. They don't want the rules to change in midstream. And that's Washington. What do you expect? When you have the president coming out who really wants the government to solve all problems, and you got the president coming out every other week saying we've got to raise taxes on job creators. How smart is that? And every other week he's going to have a new cascade of more regulation. And now we've got different companies that are just backing up, laying off people, taking $2 billion write-downs. There's no certainty. I did this to a big crowd the other day. We have a Eddie V's here, a nice restaurant. My wife Trish and I will treat anyone who raises your hand with the correct answer and provides the right answer. We will treat you and your spouse and 2 friends to dinner any night if you can tell me with certainty what the U.S. corporate tax rate is going to be in 2 years. Okay, I'll make it easy. How about the individual tax rate? All right, how about the long-term capital gains?
Higher.
All right, okay, how about, so you get hors d'oeuvres. He's right. But that's what? The Wall Street Journal talks about $2 trillion in assignment. Overnight, if you had certainty. Folks would invest, would create jobs, there's a lot of things. Tax rates needs to go down, and that's a whole different 15, 20 minutes of ideas. But we're that close, but that far. We've got to change the direction. It's a whole psychological difference. And while we're at it, we got to cut the bad and go with it. We got to cut the bad and go with it. I don't see any reason to have a Department of Education the size of it is. I've been in the oil and gas business for 25 years, still in it. I don't see a reason to have a Department of Interior that won't let people drill in the And I really don't see a reason to have this EPA. And I said I was going to talk about state business, but I can't resist this next line. And on my second day in the U.S. Senate, we're going to repeal Obamacare. No slogan there, and I'll do it out like this. Do you realize that over 10 years, Obamacare cost Texas, our portion, $27.1 billion? Do you realize it starts out at $300 million a year by 2019, 2020? It's at $4.5 billion in 2014, escalating about 11%. The next year it's at $5 billion, then it's $5.5 billion. We've never, Brian can tell you, we've never put $10 billion $10.5 billion, $11 billion of new taxpayer money in the budget any 1 year. Okay? So we had to do that. We don't repeal Obamacare. Where does our revenue come from? Two-thirds sales tax. We'd have to take our 8.25% sales tax and almost double it over my dead cold little bite. And you say, hey, you can't do that. Of course you can do that. My first day as land commissioner, I came in. You remember the gentleman that used to ran against George W. Bush in 1998? Like Gary Marlowe? I went in, I took a look at the land office, and I said, wow, we don't need this. Because, see, I understand, government has no money, it's your money. And we've got to be efficient. So on day one, laid off over 15% of the workforce. On the third week, we cut our budget 25%. At the end of each biennium, at the end of the end of the second year and the fourth year, we turn money back. You can do it. If you know how to do it. If you've got experience. So, God bless you. Thanks for being here this evening. Thanks for being volunteers. Thanks for supporting, whether you're county chairs, whether you're on the SREC, whether you're some of the 31 volunteers of the year, whether you're friends of our volunteers of the year. Thank you for traveling a long way. Thanks for being here. We honor you. We wouldn't be here without you. God bless you.